Okay, so I have finished um, putting both windows. Remember a while ago I showed you how to do this, the door, how to make the, what do you call this, the hinges. And I told you that you can use other designs. You just go online and look at other designs. And this is my doorknob. I made it round. Okay. So, and then I added one window here. And then I added the leaves. I added leaves, vines, and berries. The berries are so simple. You just make some small spheres and then you just add them. And then, so that's it. And then I added another window on the other side. Okay. Now, the next part here is putting the doorstep. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mix epoxy. And then, because I cannot let it dry like this, hanging, because it's going to fall, I'm going to lay it on this board and let it harden here. So the first step is to make sure that the area or the place where where you are going to put it, if you're going to make the something like uh, the doorstep, it has to be um, now you have to apply calcimine, so that, because if you don't use calcimine on the spot where you're going to let it dry or harden, the epoxy is going to stick to the cardboard and it would be difficult for you to remove it. So I have placed some calcimine here. I'm going to add some more because I need some uh, to use as I work on the epoxy. So let me get some. What I'm going to do is, it's not going to be so thick, not too thin, but not so thick. Okay, so, and then I will give it the appearance of like rocks, stepping stones, not really stepping stones, but doorstep. Yeah, doorstep. Okay. So I'm going to, you have to watch it this way, okay? Because I cannot work on it this way, it's going to sag. So let me just fix my camera and put it, let's place it here. Can you see it? Okay, it's the light. I'm looking for the light, the right position so that you can see it with the light. Okay. So you just need some epoxy. While I was doing the other window a while ago, there were some leftover epoxy, which I then used to make the berries and the leaves. So there, let me mix this. I think it's not enough. I'll add some more. It's quite cold this afternoon while I was doing uh, the decoration, the door and the windows, because it's a bit rainy a while. It was raining a while ago, just a light drizzle. So it's quite cold now. So I would like to repeat what I said before. For you to let this dry, don't put it under the sun, okay? Because the high temperature, when it's hot, the epoxy is not going to harden, it's going to melt, and then once it melts, it becomes so soggy, so soft, and the shapes, the carvings you placed would be made even again. So here. So what I'm going to do is to place it from this spot here to here. From this part, the rock border, to this other side. Okay. It's up to you, for example, after putting it, you might like to add other small props Maybe you would like to make a broomstick or maybe some shoes. I was trying to make some shoes a while ago with the leftovers. It was quite difficult. So I don't know. Maybe during the break, I'm going to think of some things. I have seen one wherein they placed on the doorstep a pot with some plants. So I think I'm going to do, I'll try doing that, a pot with plants. Okay, so here. Once mixed, you could sense that it's beginning to harden. Okay. So I'm going to flatten it. It might be too much. Okay. I left some for the other props I might use. Okay, so I made this. Okay, let me show you the procedure so you'd know what I did a while ago. So I mixed together thoroughly. You can add calcimine so that it won't stick to your hand. And then you do it like this. Now it becomes longer. So now I'm going to place it where it has to be placed. There. Let me show it to you. You see that? Now I'm going to flatten that with my fingers. With my fingers, I'm going to flatten it and push it towards the can so that it's going to stick to the can. Okay. Okay. Let me get some here because this part is quite thick. And then I'm going to add some here. Okay. So there it is. So I flattened it. And then I'll make sure every part of the area I want covered or decorated would be covered. Okay. So I have extra epoxy which I have mixed. I'll place it here. So this is how it looks now. Okay. So now using tools or maybe a toothpick, I'm going to make the design of rocks just like the one I did a while ago on the border. So let me design it so that that part would look like rocks. The reason why I want it designed like rocks so that when I paint it, uh, it would look nice. Okay. You know, like it has some tiles, floor tiles or something. Okay, I'm going to make it wider because I'm going to add a higher step. Okay, I hope you can see it because I cannot put it up because of the softness of the epoxy. Okay, now you see that? Now I'm going to add another step, something shorter with the leftover epoxy. Where is it? There. So that it would appear to have something like a second step. Okay. So there's the second step, the second layer. I'm going to carve it again to make the second step look like rocks using the toothpick technique. By the way, I learned this many years ago, way back, maybe 1992 or 1993. Our family, uh, especially my sister and my youngest brother, got involved with the expert business. So uh, I saw the workers decorating baskets with vines and holly leaves or rabbits, Easter eggs or roses, depending on the season. So uh, when it is, what do you call this? Easter, there would be Easter eggs and Easter bunnies. When it's spring, um, there would be roses and other flowers. When it's about maybe let's say August, we start making decors to be shipped to the U.S. and Europe, so that by December they will be by November they will be out in the market abroad. So there we have it. Now I have extra epoxy. I don't know what to do with this. Okay, I'm going to make a small pot. I'll make a small pot out of this. Let's see. See if I can make a small pot. Okay, so, and with a small pot, I'm going to add some flowers to it. Let's see. A pot. Okay, let's make a pot. Pots are quite challenging to make because they're very small. Okay. So I have a pot here. I'm going to place it next to the door. Let it harden there. Let me show you. So I have here a small pot. Okay. Now I'm going to make some leaves that come out of the pot. Where's that? Okay, with the leftover epoxy, I'm going to make leaves. So I have here a leaf and maybe 2 or 3 more. If I would be lacking with epoxy, I think I need to mix another one. Mix some more epoxy. So the design is up to you, whatever you want to put there. You might want to put mushrooms. Just, you know, make them into the shape of mushrooms. Okay, the leaves are too soft. Let's see. Okay, let me. So what I'm going to do for the pot is I'm going to make the leaves first and let the leaves harden. And once they are hard, I'm going to make a new pot and then put them there so that the leaves won't sag. Okay, so to make the leaves again, or no, let's make a mushroom instead. I think a mushroom is better for a fairy house. To make a mushroom, you just have to make the body. Just okay, because a house for elves must have a mushroom. So, okay, let me do that again. Make it round and then taper it to one end. Okay, so now we have this. See that? Okay, I hope you see that. Okay, there. I'm going to stick it to one of the doorposts. Okay, and then I'm going to make the toadstool the head of the mushroom. It must not be too heavy. Okay, just make it light, because if it's too heavy, and then you don't make it the whole toadstool, just like if this were the whole toadstool, you just get half. So you put only half of the toadstool just as an accent, a decoration. Okay, okay. So this is half of the toadstool. I'm going to press it against that part of the house so that it has a mushroom. I'm going to make it wider so that the mushroom would look better. It's like a triangle. Okay, there it is. I'll show you the mushroom because I might add one more. Do you see the mushroom here? I hope you see that. Okay, there's a mushroom. Now I still have leftover epoxy, so I'm going to make a smaller mushroom next to it. near the near the vines. Okay, I'll make it shorter so that there will be variation in height. The mushrooms won't be all at the same height. Okay, I'm going to press it. Okay, let's see. I need to work on the shape of the mushroom. Okay, there's the mushroom. I'm going to make the head of the mushroom. Okay, and press it against the body of the mushroom. Oops, I have to, because it's too low, I need to kneel or crouch or squat so that I can see it very well. Okay. Mhm. It's quite tricky. So I'm going to make it still smaller. mushroom. And then I'm going to add details to the mushroom using toothpick or carving tools. What designs, you know, some lines, just some lines to make the mushroom head look nicer. There. Here's the mushroom. So now I have two mushrooms, but still I have some extra epoxy. So I'll make another mushroom on the other side, but I'll make it small, and it's going to be solo. Very small. One side. Press it. Okay. Okay, so there I have mushrooms already. Three mushrooms. And work on the shape of the mushrooms. Okay, there. So I have made, oh, ouch. Because I can't lift it anymore. It might get damaged, so I have to wait till it hardens. So now I have three small mushrooms on the sides of the door. Let's say this is the door on the doorpost. Remember the rock design on surrounding the door? I placed a total of three mushrooms. So there it is. Okay, I think I need to cover a certain part here because some of the part of the vine is still exposed. I need to mix a very small amount of epoxy and see what I can do with that. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm going to make a small rock. Small rock. So I'm mixing some epoxy. Because there's a bare spot here, I'm going to make a very small rock. So look, if there's not enough epoxy on the board, the epoxy would stick. So there I have to use it. If there's no calcimine on the board, but that's what I meant. The epoxy would stick on the board. So now I added calcimine. Okay. And make a boulder here because there's a spot here that needs to be covered. You know, artists have this rule, you know, even flower arrangers or those who arrange things, they have this rule of odds, you know, like if you're going to make something, you use odd numbers like one piece, 3 pieces, 5 pieces, 7 pieces. They have that rule. I don't know why. It's just what they do. So I'm going to make a boulder. It's just easy. You just form it, put it there, and pretend it's a rock. Shape it like a rock, just like any rock. Use your toothpick. there's a rock here. Okay. Following the rule of thirds, I would like to make a much smaller mushroom. So I have a small one, a smaller one, and maybe a wee tiny one with so little epoxy. Just a small amount, just to make it in, the mushrooms would be in odd numbers. In a group of three, because I have here one, I'm going to make this three. So I mixed a little amount, small amount. Okay. I hope you would try doing crafts with epoxy. Because it's a great experience. Mm. Okay. I'm going to use a teeny weeny mushroom. So small that you have to look carefully to see it. There. One time I saw someone make a mushroom, and the mushroom has another small door. You know, like this is for a fairy, and I don't know what goes inside that tiny mushroom. So so small, could have its own door and windows. Okay, so there now we have three mushrooms. They would look nice once painted. So you press it, let it dry. Working with small objects, you need to be extra careful. It's quite tedious. As we say in Filipino, mabusisi. Okay, so now I have three mushrooms. Let me show it to you a little bit close. I hope you could see it with the light. So I hope you can see the small mushrooms. Okay, you see the small mushrooms? There are three. Okay. And then there's one mushroom on the other side next to the boulder. Okay, it's here. You cannot see it clearly unless it's painted. Oh, I still have an extra epoxy. Maybe another leaf or some more berries. Okay, I'll make berries out of this epoxy. Okay, so that it won't be wasted. It's beginning to harden. Oh, it's quite difficult. It's beginning to harden already. Let's use this one. Okay, this one is better. Still soft. Okay, so I added a berry somewhere. But I think it's... Okay, let's mix that. I think I can make 2 berries out of it. So this is one berry, and another berry. Where do I place it? Mhm. Place it here. Somewhere here. Okay. Oops. Won't stick. I'll just make it into a vine. I think the vine would look much better. Okay, so I made it into a vine. Or not a vine, but a tendril. You know, a tendril is that small, you know, like a vine, but it's very thin and then it coils. Usually used by plants to attach themselves to posts or to sticks. Okay. Okay, so there we have it. I'll just let this dry, and once it's dried, we're going to apply the base color, which is black. You just spray it on with black acrylic paint, and then um, we are going to add the colors to make those parts pop out. Okay, so I'll see you in a while.